everybody, Joyce here with the Traveling Gamblers, and I am here with Jon. Hello, Jon.
Hello, Joyce.
And Jon and I are in Las Vegas. We came to Las Vegas the day we got off of the Equinox, and we didn't have an opportunity to do an intro for this next video. This is the lovely Sara, who works at the Future Cruise on the Equinox, and we attended a wonderful presentation by her, and it is all the new information. It's all update and current about all the ships, where they're going to be docked for the Celebrity Cruise Lines for 23, 24, and half of 25, because the schedule right now is only open until the end of April of 2025. We hope you enjoyed the video as much as we enjoyed the presentation. Here we go.
One of our ships, that is a Celebrity Millennium, is not going to come back anymore to America. After the Alaska season this year, is going to do the Trans-Pacific and is going to stay in Asia all year around until further notice. And we will have one of our newer ships, the Celebrity Edge, going to Alaska in 2024. So that is also new. We are going back to the Arctic Circle after so many years. It's about maybe, I would say 10, 12, 13 years that we haven't been that far in Norway. We are going back to do longer sailings, 14 nights. We have more ports of calls, and we have a lot of ships in the Caribbean. And you also have a very shorter sailings. Now let's talk about the Celebrity fleet. We do have 4 different series of ships. The first series of ships is going to be the Galapagos series. All of these ships are expedition ships. That means that they are smaller ships. Actually, the smaller that we have in our fleet is the Exploration with 16 guests. This is the smaller ship in the fleet, 16 guests. Then we have the Expedition with 48 and our beautiful Flora with 100. Those ships only goes to the Galapagos Islands. And then we have 3 different series. The first one is the Millennium series. The Millennium is our older ships, because those ships, they were built in between 2000 and 2002. They are beautiful. Of course, they were designed at that time, so they are more traditional. They are a little bit smaller, about 1,000 guests less than what the Equinox holds. They're beautiful ships. 2 of them, they were fully renovated, the Millennium and the Summit. The other 2, they were scheduled to be renovated during the pandemic. Unfortunately, it's still on standby. Now, we also have the Celebrity Solstice series. The Solstice series are the ships that you are here right now. You are in the Equinox. The Solstice series, they came in between 2008 and 2012. Capacity, well, as you are here right now on the Equinox, more or less is about 2,800 at double occupancy, 3,300 full occupancy. The 5 that we have is Solstice, Equinox, Eclipse, Silhouette, and the Reflection. 2 of them, they were fully renovated. The Celebrity Equinox and the Celebrity Silhouette. And then we have our beautiful Celebrity, the Edge series. 4 of them. Celebrity Edge came on December of 2018. And it has the beginning of the Edge series. Different designs, different style of ships, different types of suites as well. Now, the Celebrity Edge came in 2018. Apex was scheduled to come in 2020. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, the first sailing was on June of 2021. And the Celebrity Beyond came in 2022, and our beautiful Celebrity Ascent is under construction right now. But the first sailing is going to be in November, at the end of November of this year. So towards the end of this year, we are going to have 16 ships in our fleet. Where these ships can take you? Many guests, they go for the ship. Many guests, they go for the destination. And if you're lucky, if you have both of them at the same time, right? So let's see. Let's start with our smaller ships, the Millennium series. Millennium is right now doing Alaska cruises. Very interesting Alaska cruises. But at the end of the season in Alaska, it's going to take the Trans-Pacific from Vancouver to Tokyo. It's a very long sailing. And after that, the ship is going to do Japanese, and it's going to do different sailings that I will show you as well, India, Malaysia, Indonesia, but it's not coming back to America. It's staying all year round in Asia. Infinity is right now in Europe, and this is another ship that is not coming back to North America. Infinity is going to do Europe during the winter season, or starting November, December, is going to do Morocco, the Canary Islands, places that are warmer. And in January, February, March of 2024 and 2025 is going to be doing cruises to Egypt and to Israel, overnights in Alexandria, overnights in Jerusalem. The Summit is doing the Bermuda right now, Canada, New England, Greenland this year, but next year is going to be replacing the Millennium, so it's going to do Alaska. And the Constellation is the only ship that is sailing from Tampa. Constellation is the only one. It's going to do the Mardi Gras, and it's going to do several stops in New Orleans. Then it's also doing Europe, by the way. Our Solstice series, we have 5. Solstice is going to focus in Alaska and in Asia. Equinox this year is going to stay in the Caribbean. However, around April of the next year is going to do a repositioning and is going to go to Europe. It's going to do amazing cruises in Europe, in Portugal, overnight in Lisbon. You have Morocco, Tangier, you have Porto as well. So it's doing different destinations. It's doing a very nice cruises. And the ship that is going to stay instead of the Equinox in the Caribbean is going to be the Reflection. That is also a Solstice series. We do have the Eclipse. Eclipse is doing Alaska, and is going to be focusing in Bermuda and Canada, New England next year. And the Silhouette that is doing Europe and the Caribbean. Our Edge series. The Edge is the one that is going to do more different destinations per year. Edge right now is in Europe. Towards October, it's going to do a repositioning from Italy until New Zealand. 3 different cruises is going to go through the Suez Canal, through Dubai, Abu Dhabi, but it's only happening this year. After that, Edge is going to do Australia, New Zealand, and then the Edge is going to be doing Alaska. So that will be the itinerary. Alaska, Australia, New Zealand, of course the Trans-Pacific, the French Polynesia, Hawaii. Apex, Beyond, and the New Ascent, they are going to do Caribbean and Europe. What is different? Anybody had the chance already to go? Yeah, for sure you went already to the Edge series. Anybody had the chance? Very good. So do you have an idea where the retreat is coming from? The retreat is actually coming from the Edge. When the company decided to build the Edge ships, they thought about having the retreat area, a place where our suites can relax, have your drinks, have this kind of presentations, have events during the day, maybe music, officers party. You have it here. You also have the deck area, your own pool, you have the Lumine. That idea, that concept came from the Edge series. When it was so successful is that the company decided to do the same for the rest of the fleet. Unfortunately, it didn't happen for all the ships due to the pandemic, but luckily we were able to do all the ships have the retreat lounge. All the ships in our fleet has a Lumine. Not all the ships has a deck area. The deck area will be for the Equinox, for the Silhouette, for the Millennium, and for the Summit. Those were the ships that they were renovated. What else is different in the Edge series? It's not only that you have your own deck area, but you have different layout of the ships, different public areas. You have more restaurants. You have the magic carpet that I'm pretty sure you saw videos about it. It's a venue that it can become part of a bar, or it become part of a restaurant. You can enjoy your dining, al fresco dining. It's different locations. You have different types of rooms. The theater is also different. In the Edge series, it doesn't matter where you sit in the theater, you will be able to enjoy the show. They play a lot with the lights, with the screens. In terms of amenities, you still have the same facilities, it's just that much larger. You have your retreat lounge, you have the deck with your own pool, your own cabanas, your own deck chairs, your own bar, and you have, of course, the Lumine. The same as here, but the difference is that in this ship, it is located all together in one place. So you don't need to go front and back because you want to go to the deck and then you want to go to the illuminate. No, everything is in the same area. Different types of suites as well, because besides the same suites that you have here, like the Sky Suite, Celebrity Suite, Royal and Penthouse, they also have the H villas that are the double-story room, and you also have the Iconic Suites. On the H series, the Iconic and the H and the Penthouse are double stateroom suites. So the suite have 2 bedrooms, independent bedrooms, and they can accommodate up to 6 guests. Especially for holidays or maybe family vacation, you want to have all of you in one room, you can accommodate 6 people in the Iconic and in the Penthouse. The size of the Iconic Suite is 1,892 square feet. Imagine, it's huge. And your deck, only the deck is 689 square feet. So you don't need to go away anymore from that room. You can be there forever and you will have your own space. Of course, you have your own whirlpool as well. The H Villa, as I was mentioning to you, this is a very beautiful suite that you can only find them in the H series. This is a two-story room. You have your own plunge pool. Again, you have your own plunge pool, you have your own deck, you don't need to go anywhere else there. And this is capacity for 4 guests, it's only 1 bedroom. The retreat deck is much bigger. You have your own pool, your own cabanas, your own bar, and on the Beyond and the Ascent, actually that was increased for 40% the capacity if you compare it with H and Apex. Where do we go? All around the world. Of course, depending on the time of the year, because we go there during the best times, especially if we are going to all the southern part of South America or all the northern part, we have to go during the best time, the summertime. One of the itineraries that I will talk about is the Galapagos Islands. By the way, if you're interested in the Galapagos, we will have a presentation of the Galapagos that is going to happen the next day, because we only have 2, and it's going to be at 1 p.m. The Galapagos Islands is a very restricted area. It's a very, if you like nature, if you love landscapes, this is the best place to go. Wildlife, you have unique species, endemic species, you will not be able to see anywhere else in the world. If you have the chance to do it, do it. We do it with our ships, are allowed to go there. We have the largest ship sailing, that is the Flora. The cruises itself are only 7 nights, are very, very port intensive. This is one of the cruises, this is one of the only packages that Celebrity offers that is all included, including the excursions. So I know that you're coming with your drinks, your tips, and the internet, but on the Galapagos, on top of that, you also have your excursions included. So you don't need to add on top of that. The excursions, you have about 2 excursions a day, because we are visiting 2 islands a day. One in the morning, one in the afternoon. Around 8:30, you go for your first excursion. Around 12:30, you're coming back for lunch. 2:30, you are going to the second island. You visit 2 islands a day, except the time that you go to Puerto Ayora, that is a populated island. The cruise itself is 7 days, but because the Galapagos Islands are located or are very restricted, and the airport doesn't have international flights, we do not offer only the 7 nights. The minimum package that we offer is 10 nights. 2 nights in the capital of Ecuador, in Quito, with the accommodations included, and also a full day tour included. Tours, meals, everything is included, and the flight between Quito to Bartra to take the ship and the 7-day cruises. Species, unique species. You will not be able to see some of these species around the world. And you have some species that they are coming to the islands only during the migration season. The big migration season happens between April to November. But endemic species like the frigate bird, the flightless cormorant, the marine iguanas, the giant tortoises, or the blue-footed boobies, or the boobies. The boobies are not endemic from the islands, but the ones that they live in the islands, they don't move. You will be able to see them any time of the year. This is an amazing giant tortoise that you can walk. Imagine walking in the fields and be surrounded by these species of animals. These prehistorical tortoise, they can live up to 175 years in the wild. So they can be really, really very old. And they can be, some of them, especially the males, they can be massive, almost 2 meters diameter, so they are huge. You also have the marine iguanas. It's the only species of iguanas that they go to the sea to feed itself. So these species are all year around. You will be able to see different, well, the types of the penguins, sea lions, and during the migration season, different types of whales as well. Now, if you're already in South America, you're already doing the Galapagos Islands, and it's already a long flight, what you can do is you can extend all together and do 16 nights and visit another highlight in South America, that is Machu Picchu in Peru. I've been in the Galapagos twice. I've been in Machu Picchu many times because I am from Peru. So if you have any questions about this package, you can always ask me. Once again, everything is included in this package. The 2 nights in Quito, the flight from Quito to the islands, the 7-day cruise. During your 7-day cruise, you have drinks, tips, internet, and excursions included. Going back to Quito, if you're doing the 16 nights, we include the international flight to Lima, 2 nights in Lima, 5-star accommodations with day tours in Lima. We include the flight to Cusco, 4 days in Cusco and the Sacred Valley, and we take you back to Lima. It's an all-included package with the 16 nights total. You will be able to enjoy different archaeological sites, not only Machu Picchu. You have Sacsayhuaman, Ollantaytambo, amazing structures that you will have more questions than answers. How they build these places, how they move these stones from one mountain to another, how they cut them, because not only the stones are heavy, some of them are more than 200 tons, but if you can see in the picture, I know it's a very tiny picture, but the shape of the stones are not the natural shape. They cut each of every single stone to put them and to fit them together as a puzzle. Now, going around different other destinations, we have Europe during the summertime. Basically, this is the time of the year that we are doing Europe, usually between the end of April until the beginning of November when we are staying in Europe. And we do have 8 ships doing European sailings. The red dots that you have here are the home ports. So we do have different home ports. If we are focusing in the northern part of Europe, like the Baltic Seas, or maybe we want to do the British Isles, or here all the way up to Norway, we are sailing either from Amsterdam or Rotterdam, and we also have Southampton, England. And if you are focusing in the Mediterranean part, we have Lisbon, Barcelona in Spain, Civitavecchia, Rome, Ravenna, Italy, and Piraeus in Athens, Greece. Ravenna is the closest point to Venice. We are not going anymore to Venice, we are not allowed. So we are sailing from Ravenna, that is about 2 hours away from Venice, or maybe 2 hours and a half. Now let's continue. So again, Ascent is joining the fleet this year, and this year is going to start with Caribbean because it's coming to the Caribbean first, but around April it's going to do the repositioning to Europe. And in Europe, Ascent is a ship that is doing more destinations, very different destinations. You have some short destinations with 7 nights, 9 nights, 12 nights, 11 nights. Is doing Greece, is doing French Riviera, the Italian Riviera, cruises to Spain. So it's going to have a lot of different sailings. This is some of the highlights of the cruises, because in Europe we do everything. If you are looking for the western part of Europe or the eastern part of Europe, we have ships that the Beyond, for instance, the Beyond is sailing from Civitavecchia, is doing overnight in Istanbul, is going to Croatia. Constellation and Infinity is going to focus more in the western, in Spain, in France, in Italy, and then you have the ships that are going to the northern part of Europe. The picture that you see here is the first time after many, many years that we are going back to 12 nights in Norway. This cruise is happening with the Apex on July 8. It's sailing from Southampton, it's going to Kristiansand, it's going all the way here on the top to Hannesbach, and in order to arrive this point, you have to cross the Arctic Circle. It goes to Tromsø, it's crossing back the Arctic Circle to go back to Olden, Flam, Stavanger, and ends in Southampton. 12 nights cruise in Norway. This year and next year, we are going back to Egypt. After so many years, it has been since 2012 that we haven't visited Egypt. We are going to do it for the first time this year on September with the Apex Infinity. Next year is going to be the Silhouette and Infinity. Sailings Athens back to Athens, 10, 11, 12 nights, depending on the cruise that you select. Overnight in Alexandria, overnight in Jerusalem, also visit Ephesus in Turkey, so you have different combinations. This cruise is not located in the European flyer, but it goes to Europe. It goes to Greenland from Cape Liberty. This sailing is happening only twice a year, in August. This year is with the Summit, next year is with the Eclipse. So there are two different sailings. The first one is the one that sails from Cape Liberty, goes to Halifax, St. John, it goes to Greenland, and the last year was the first time for Celebrity in Greenland, goes to Kakortok in Greenland, is cruising around the biggest fjords in the world, that is Prince Christian Sound, and then it goes to Iceland. In Iceland, it goes to Akureyri, Ísafjörður, and ends in Reykjavik. So this is one sailing. The second sailing is when this cruise is over. The ship will start in Reykjavik, in the capital of Iceland, and it's going to do the same stops to finish in US, but instead of Cape Liberty, it will end in Boston. So some guests, they do it as a back-to-back, they don't want to fly. You can do that. Only thing to take in consideration is that it starts in Cape Liberty, but at the end of the next sailing, we land in Boston. Alaska. During the summertime, we are also in Alaska. Right now, we do have 3 ships doing Alaska. I did Alaska several times, it's beautiful. The picture that you see here is the Haber Glacier. Haber Glacier is one of the most impressive glaciers. Depending on the time of the year, if you are going at the beginning of the season, like this time of the year, when the ice is not melted yet, it's spectacular to see how the ship goes very close to the glacier and you are surrounded by the ice. The ice is breaking around you and the ship goes very close because the captain usually turns the ship 360 degrees so everybody has a chance to see. We do have 3 ships going to Alaska. Not all the cruises goes to Haber Glacier. You also go to Dawes Glacier, which is also amazing. 7-day cruise, pretty much all of them, and you have few combinations. You can either do Vancouver to Vancouver or Seattle to Seattle. But you also have the cruise, the ship, next year is going to be the Summit, that will end or will start in the same Alaska. Alaska is beautiful. You have a lot of excursions to do. You have the glaciers, you can hike in the glacier, you can do helicopter, whale watching, canoeing, kayaking. You can do the dog sliding as well, or maybe the sliding dog or the dog sliding. I always mix up. And the best thing to do with Alaska, because the ports of call in Alaska are very tiny. And the only way to arrive to most of these ports is either by sea or by plane. And we do have the main cities like Ketchikan, Skagway, Icy Strait Point. But if you really want to enjoy Alaska in deep, like if you really want to see the nature and to have the chance to see a lot of wildlife, what we recommend is to do the land portion. The land portion allows you to add on top of the 7-day cruise from between 3 up to 6 days. You can do it at the beginning of the cruise or you can do it at the end. And it will be, all the sailings will give you the chance to stop in Denali. So the cruise will start here in Vancouver. You go all around the coast, Ketchikan, Skagway, the Haber Glacier, and you end in Seward. If you do this type of cruise, your land portion will be at the end. You can also start doing your land portion first, take the ship in Seward, and end all the way to Vancouver. And once again, our Celebrity Edge is going to be in Alaska next year. Edge is going to sail from Seattle back to Seattle. The Pacific Coastal and Mexican Riviera. Those sailings are unique. They have very, very good promotions right now, but those cruises are only happening this year. Next year, we do have few Pacific Coastals, but we don't have Mexican Riviera. We will have Mexican Riviera this year until December. And it's you have the option to do a very nice cruise, nice weather like the Caribbean, but from the other side. Those sailings are from Los Angeles back to Los Angeles, give you the chance to do overnighting in Cabo San Lucas or in Puerto Vallarta, depending on the cruise that you are deciding or you're selecting. This time of the year, during the summer, well, actually we do Bermuda between May until more or less August, the beginning of August or the end of July. Most of the cruises that goes to Bermuda are only 7 nights. With that, we only have 1 or 2 exceptions this year, and next year we have one that goes to Martha's Vineyard too. But the next year is basically Cape Liberty back to Cape Liberty, 7 days and 3 days in Bermuda, 3 days with 2 overnights. You can use the ship as a hotel, come back as many times as you wish, or maybe you arrive, you leave the ship on the first day that we arrive to Bermuda, you don't need to come back until before the ship leaves the first day. We have Canada, New England. Canada, New England, we do it after the season in Bermuda is over, so we start around August. Well, actually September. August, the ship will be in Greenland. So September and October is the time that we do Canada, New England, especially for the change of the leaves during the fall time. This part of Canada is beautiful. I mean, I've been in Canada in many parts, but doing the overnight in Quebec City, that is a very European city, is amazing. And all the cruises that, we only have 3 or 4 cruises that does overnight in Quebec City. Those sailings are from Boston back to Boston. In the Caribbean, you have everything. For this year up to April 2025, with the Caribbean we have pretty much 8 ships doing the Caribbean. You have longer sailings. In 2025 we are going to have the Silhouette doing 3 and 4 nights. You have the option to do up to 12 nights or 11 nights. And the Beyond, that is one of our newer ships, is doing 10 and 11 nights in the Caribbean. What is different with the Beyond is that you are doing the Touch Canal. So you know that we have a new canal, the Panama Canal, one of the newer ones, and this canal is wider. That's why we can take one of our newer ships, our larger ships there. That is basically very similar size than the Equinox. Why we call it the Touch Canal is because the ship is not going to cross to the other side. It's not going to do the 3 locks, but you will still have the experience because it's going to the first lock, it's going to the lake, it's going around the lake and it's coming back. So those cruises are round trip, Fort Lauderdale to Fort Lauderdale. You live the experience, but you don't need to fly back from the other side. And it's with the new canal. But if you're interested in doing the historical canal or the old canal, we only have 2 of these cruises. Next year on April and coming back on September. And it's with the Summit. The Summit is one of our Millennium series of ships that it has been renovated. And with the Summit, you go to the old canal, and the old canal, the historical canal, is really smaller, it's narrow. So the only ships that they can really fit through the canal is the Millennium series. And I can tell you that it's that narrow that you basically can touch the walls of the canal from your balcony. This is how narrow it is. Now, the experience of this canal is that this cruise is that it goes from the Pacific to the Atlantic or the Atlantic to the Pacific, depending on the cruise that you are looking for. You do the 3 locks, so you have all the experience. On April, the ship will sail from Miami and it will end in Los Angeles. On September, the cruise will start in Los Angeles and will finish in Fort Lauderdale. Now, our exotic destinations. For Celebrity, if the cruise is not starting in North America or in Europe, it's already exotic. So South America, Australia, New Zealand, the Opera House, Asia, all those sailings are exotics. And in Australia and New Zealand, we will have one of our newer ships, the Celebrity Edge, doing the South Pacific, doing the Trans-Pacific too. Now, this is one of the itineraries because there are many combinations. Usually when we are in Australia, the cruises are round trip Sydney to Sydney and they go to New Zealand. So for instance, in this combination, the ship it goes around the Sound Islands, goes to Dunedin, Christchurch, Picton, Wellington, Napier, Tauranga, Bay of Islands and Auckland. In this combination, the cruise ends in New Zealand, which gives you the chance if you want to maybe come earlier and do something on your own in Australia and stay later in Auckland and do something in New Zealand. I have to say that New Zealand is beautiful. I've been in Australia. I wanted to go to Australia. When I finally go to Australia, I was impressed because Australia is beautiful, but I didn't expect to be that amazed by New Zealand. New Zealand is beautiful. I like it so much that after that contract, I went back to New Zealand on my own, and I stayed there for 3 weeks. I love it. It's amazing. What you can do, because flying there is already far, you can always combine cruises as well. So you have the option to do the Great Barrier Reef, that is a cruise that only goes to Australia, and combine it with a cruise that goes to New Zealand, and you can do all at once. The cruises that goes to the Great Barrier Reef are round trip Sydney, back to Sydney. They go to Brisbane, Early Beach, Port Douglas, Willis Island, Cairns. From Cairns and Port Douglas, you can do the Great Barrier Reef. When the season in Australia is over, the ship has to come back to America. But how it does it? Then you sail from Sydney, you go around New Zealand, Bay of Islands, Auckland, Tauranga, this is for the edge. You go to the French Polynesia, this is the only time when the cruises are doing the French Polynesia, and ends in Honolulu. So you have 2 ways, when the season in Australia is over, or when the Alaska season is over and the ship is going to Australia, it's going to go the other way around. From Honolulu, if you don't want to fly back home, you can take the ship from Honolulu to Lahaina, Kailua Kona, Hilo, and end in Vancouver. So you can combine these 2 cruises together. Again, these sailings are happening with the solstice and with the edge, and it's only happening twice a year, this kind of combinations. This is the only time that we visit Hawaii, and it's the only time that we also visit the French Polynesia. South America sailings, we do it only in the summer of South America. That is your winter time. So South America is usually between December to March, early April. In 2025, we do have already sailings for 2025, and it's going to be done by the equinox. Next year is going to be done by the eclipse. The cruises, we do have a very nice repositioning if you have the time to do it, because it's happening this year. It starts on December the 7th from Los Angeles, goes around Mexico, Cabo San Lucas, Huatulco, Mexico, Punta Arenas in Costa Rica, Manta, Ecuador. You do an overnight in Lima in Peru, you visit Pisco in Peru, and you end in Chile. But this repositioning is only happening this year, and that's it for now. If not, what you can do the Antarctic cruises. And very important to mention is that we do not stop in the Antarctic, so you will not have the chance to step on the Antarctic, but the cruise goes around. It takes more or less 2 days to do the Antarctic cruising. You will have always a naturalist, a person that is talking in the PA system, mentioning and telling you all about history and what we're seeing, because this is one of the best cruises to do a lot of wildlife. You can see penguins. You can go also to the Falkland Islands, and they have a very big national park protected area for penguins, but you also do other different cities. Or you have the option to do just the Patagonia Tierra del Fuego. In 2025, it's going to be round trip from Buenos Aires to Buenos Aires. You have the chance to go to Uruguay, Montevideo, Falkland Islands, Ushuaia. You have the chance to go to the Strait of Magellan as well. Punta Arenas, Puerto Madryn, in Argentina, Punta del Este, and going back to Buenos Aires. 14 days, usually those cruises are. In Asia, we do have 2 ships. We have Solstice and we have the Millennium. The Solstice is focusing basically in these 2 itineraries, which are the same, either from Hong Kong to Singapore or Singapore to Hong Kong. 12 nights. The cruises in Asia give you the chance to do a lot of overnights. So you have the chance to stay and to do something on your own, to use the ship as a hotel, come back as many times as you wish. With the Solstice, you have overnights in Hanoi, in Vietnam. You have also Ho Da Nang, Ho Chi Minh, overnight in Thailand. You go to Koh Samui in Thailand, and you end in Singapore. Or you do the other way around with the same overnights and the same stops from Singapore to Hong Kong. However, the Millennium is the ship that is going to have more options for you to do a back-to-back. So if you're all the way to Asia, you can combine more than 1 cruise together and do different ports of call. This is also the first time, starting this year, that we are going to have Mumbai as our home port. So we are going to do different sailings, Singapore to Mumbai, India, with stops in Malaysia as Penang, stops in Thailand, Phuket. You go to Sri Lanka. We are doing a lot of new ports of call in Sri Lanka and in Malaysia. And you have also overnights in Cochin and in Mumbai, India. Or you have the option to do overnights in Phuket, Thailand, overnights in Penang, in Malaysia, and you have other ports of call. This is a lot of Malaysia ports. You have Langkawi, Penang, overnight, Port Klang in Malaysia, and you combine it with Indonesian, Sanlookan and Lombok. Most probably the pronunciation is very bad. But the idea is that you can combine Indonesia and Malaysia in one cruise. And of course, we have the Japanese sailings. Japan is very popular. As soon as we were released in Japan, the cruises were already sold out, especially during the cherry blossom that is between March and April. That is the reason that when they decided to keep one ship in Asia, Millennium is going to stay doing Japan between March until October. Only Japanese sailings. That you have a lot of options of overnights, depending on the combination, a round-trip cruises Tokyo to Tokyo, and besides Japan, also stops in South Korea, either Jeju Island or Busan. So this is pretty much a little bit of everything that Celebrity does.